Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It is Tuesday night, and it is time to get back into it. All things Bad Batch, Season 2, Episode 10, Retrieval. You already know who we going down this road with. We got the one, the only, AK in the house. How we doing tonight?
I'm here, man. I'm here. We're about to get in these things.
Oh, she said she got some things to say about some things in this episode, and I am excited to hear it. But before we hear that, we got to talk to our man. He's back from WrestleMania. Are you still alive? Are you battered and bruised? How you doing, Brother Phantom?
Yo, what is good, DJ? Finally back from WrestleMania to talk about the Bad Batch. And these are probably like my three favorite episodes of the season, honestly.
Facts.
It just keeps getting better and better. This season is amazing. You already know I am down with the Clone Wars. I love some Bad Batch. I love Rebels, and I think, I can't wait to get into season 3 of the Bad Batch once we're done with this, because it just keeps getting better every single episode, every single season, and I am here for it. Let's talk about it. Bad Batch season 2, episode 10. This one's just called Retrieval, and I still can't believe Sid was so ruthless to just leave our crew just stranded out there with no rations. Like, is she really in the middle of something that important, or just being her old ruthless self, AK?
I feel like she's just being her old ruthless self. I mean, I when Sid talks, it don't really surprise me because that's just her. Oddly enough, she's the only one that I didn't have beef with in the episode. Sid was just going around being Sid and doing Sid things. I expect that. If she starts being extracurricular too nice, I'm gonna start side-eyeing because that's gonna be sus. Now the rest of these fools, look, I'll wait until you pull up the points. I ain't gonna go.
We got some things to say about some things. I don't know. What's up, fandom? Is there any chance that Sid's just out there with Magoli having some like hot and steamy weekend and just can't be bothered?
Man, fuck you, Sid. That's all I gotta say. and we'll talk more about it on the second episode, the beginning of it. But oh my gosh! But then again, the way how this one guy treats his people, I'm like, you know what? Sid ain't entirely that bad. But she could have hurry up and sent some rations over or something. Now, come on. We're not in like the 21st century here in a damn freaking Star Wars not Rebels, Bad Batch. He could have sent something down there to help.
Can we get a care package? Can we get something? I mean. Yeah,
they do still got a bill to pay though. Come on, man.
I think that thing's been paid off. She's been stealing from them this whole time. She's been suckering them, giving them the low end.
It don't matter. On the books right now, it's still due.
Oh, that's for sure.
Only 30% can go so far, apparently.
Right. Record's bored and hot and out of rations, and it's looking pretty dire for the crew. Tech thinks he can get this speeder bike running well enough to get them to the other side of town, but I don't know. They don't all have such high hopes. Omega also comes up with a great idea. She said that they could put a trace on Gonki and track his location. And Record told her not to get her hopes up, but I don't know. Once she said that, I started having a good feeling like they might get the Marauder back. Did you ever think that they were going to lose the ship for good, AK?
I did not think so, but stranger things have happened, man. So sometimes we don't always get the happy endings.
I mean, these ships are family. It's just like Ghost and Rebels. I mean, these ships are just part of it. Like, we're not trying to lose any of it. But we see where the thief takes the Marauder, and that Moko be punking them youngins. I mean, he was out of line. And then acting like Benny bringing this pimped out ship wasn't like an outstanding job, just downplaying it to the max. I mean, you knew he was screwing everybody over. He's a bigger gangster than Sid. This man. And then that kid said about like, how about some water? And like, I was out there for so many rotations. And then Moko takes out his canteen and just starts guzzling it down his fat throat, drinking most of it, and then gives Benny the last few drops. So you just know this is a ruthless bastard we're about to be dealing with. Did you think this guy was going to die after seeing that, Phantom?
Hey, which part?
When that gangster took out the drink when old boy was out there and he brought him the ship and he's like, "Can I get some water? I've been out there for like 7 weeks." And he freaking guzzles half his canteen and then gives him like the last few drops.
That was like ruthless. I'm like, seriously?
When they do something that brutal right out of the gate, I just figure that person's gonna die. Like they're just game over by the end of it.
Nah, they deserve something way worse, but that's just me.
Omega was able to get a ping on Gonki, and it's still on the planet. So if so, like, so is the ship. So it's starting to look up. and the crew locate the thief that actually stole it. And he got the droid because the droid was with him and not the ship, but the ship's in another location entirely. So now we still got problems. And then they get Benny to take him to where the ship is, but the hyperdrive's been taken out, and they also need to get to the main tower because if they think they're going to get out of here, they're going to have to shut down the force field. So they're putting all these things in place, but like, does it get too easy for our boys? Like, at this point, do we think there's anything this crew can't do, AK, or get themselves out of?
Absolutely not.
Like, we're not doubting for a second that they're not going to get out of this, right?
Nope.
So then
something's going to happen, some last minute something or other, and we're going to go home.
So that's why I like it when they start going deeper about the feelings and how they're feeling. Because like the actual action part of this, like, okay, they're going to get into a problem, they're going to solve a problem, they're going to get out of a problem. So the fact that they're able to go deeper with some of this other stuff is, I think, why I enjoy the show so much. But they don't. Most of the crew would stick out like sore thumbs, so they have to send Omega to try to go shut this thing down. And they just should have known that her little naive ass was going to be too trusting of the thief and end up getting in trouble. Like, I don't know. Would you be trusting Omega to go on something that important, Phantom?
Yeah, that's how I would.
I mean,
since like what was his name? Echo had left previous episode. She needs more responsibility. So at this point, if you don't trust her now, then just put her at a daycare center.
But they know like she's just a little too naive and trusting of people. Like they just need to give her that hard education. Like, listen, you need to keep all eyes on this because he's going to try to pull something. And she just got sweet talked out of it and ended up giving up her rations. And I don't know. Sure enough, she did not keep all eyes on him. And he tripped an alarm to let Moko know that we have visitors. And this is just a problem. I don't know. It's like she's getting too old to be making these kind of mistakes, I think. It's like, what's she going to learn?
Exactly. As smart as she is and how quickly she picks up on things, it doesn't make sense anymore that she's still getting this distracted this easily.
Exactly. I mean, you need to make a show and have your problems in it, but like, come on, she's better than that. She's doing everything else like to a T, but lets this one slip. That made no sense to me. But I did like how Tech like stops to point out that what's happening down here is basically slave labor and the exact same thing that the Empire was doing, only on a much smaller scale. Like they were bringing it all to light. And I can't believe even after Omega gave Benny the little bit of rations that he had, he still never told her that Moko was on the way. Like, I mean, I don't know. Is this dude ruthless? Does he even deserve sympathy after this, Phantom?
No, that was wrong, though, for what he did to Echo. Not Echo, excuse me. Omega.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, you're sitting there eating the little bit of food. You know she ain't got no more food. She gave her what little bit she does to you, and you can't just be like, oh, man, I screwed up. We need to get out of here. Like, just nothing. I mean, I don't know. That just shows me he's evil at his core. So, of course, Omega gets caught and gets into a pretty...
Hold on.
What's that?
Okay, yeah. I think I totally spaced.
On what?
On the episode season. Like, I was able to keep up because I still recognize the situations. I remember the situations that were happening for when I watched before, but yeah, that's not what my notes are on.
Oh, yours was on the next one.
No, season 1 is what I watched.
Oh, feel it. Yeah, we're rocking that season 2. It's episode 10. So
there's a couple points I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. And then I just looked at the title. I was like, oh, whoops. Well, yeah.
He said, feel it. Yeah, we did that one. We're on to the new one. Oh, keep it rocking. Let's see what's up. So, of course, Omega gets caught and gets into a pretty scary situation. And Moko has one of his robots, like, ready to toss her into the fiery pits. And I don't know. It was looking pretty bleak until Benny showed up with the info that Omega had found out that Moko had been skimming these kid miners from Jump Street. And the Ipsium is not degraded and therefore is not worth as much. It's worth every bit as much. This kid is making bank and stealing all their money and not only taking their portion of it, but starving them, making him act like he's got nothing coming in. Like, I don't know. Would you not just peel this fool's skin by this point, Phantom?
Yeah, I pretty much would. Because even Sid wouldn't even do that.
I'm saying, like, she's making Sid look like a saint at this point. Like, he was keeping all the profit for himself. And then after finding out that...
Look like the good, how are you making Sid look like the good guy?
Exactly. I mean, you know you're pure evil if you can get that far. And after finding that out, like, he's lucky he threw himself over that rail into that fiery pit. Because after hearing that, I'm thinking them kids would have peeled him. I mean, they would have carved him up and probably ate his fat ass for what he pulled on that.
who was not double checking this kid that he was able to get as far as he got?
Well, he's not a kid. He's a gangster. He was like the head guy, and he was like basically treating him like a father figure. Like he was all these kids.
Yeah.
So
they didn't see like anything
Oliver
wrong with this.
treatment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Right.
It was blind loyalty until like they saw the actual proof. Then they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
Right.
But how gangster is Omega? Like flipping herself and that robot into the fiery depths below, just knowing Hunter would be like right on time to grab her. I mean, how fearless is this girl, Phantom? That was sick.
I'm telling you, she's growing up now. She's growing up.
That was pretty sick. I don't know if I'd even have that one. I mean, that timing had to be precise. And of course it was. And how messed up in the head is Benny? Like, even after all this, he still tried to reach out and save Moko. Like, let that fat man drop into the pits at this point. Like, Stockholm Syndrome much? That was terrible. I was like, what are you doing? Like I said, this kid is warped. He needs to go. But things seem to work out in the end. And Benny leaves Omega with if you ever need a thief, I owe you. So is that definitely going to come back into play at some later date, AK?
It has to.
Right?
You don't put Chekhov's gun out there like that and then don't do nothing with it.
Exactly. That is absolutely. We're definitely going to be seeing Benny at some point stealing for the Bad Batch at some point. It might be season 3, but that's definitely going to happen.
It'd be a shame if we didn't. He's a good character.
Oh, it's a good setup. Yeah. So our crew get the ship back, and of course, what do you think? Do you think they ended up taking some of that extra Epsium for their troubles, Phantom?
Most definitely.
I mean,
wasn't that the whole point of that mission?
Yeah, but then they lost the stuff that they got from Sid's dead mine. So it's like, since these guys are all mining it, wouldn't they just take a little bit for themselves? I mean, I don't know. They basically just broke them free of their bonds. I think they're entitled to a little extra Ipsium. And depending on how much,
a couple extra barrels, I think, could be skimmed over a little bit.
So depending on how much they take, that's my question. Is like, shouldn't they have enough to pay off Sid and be done with her by now? Then after this haul?
Okay, wait, hold on. They're still paying her?
Yeah.
It's never gonna end. We need a show. We need
what else?
It's never gonna.
See, now I'm gonna have to go back and check. Apparently, because I've been sleeping through the whole of season 2. I need to go back and see what else was left on the books, because in my notes, what I'm remembering from watching season 1, episode 10, Omega had that shit paid off already. From the strategy game on the tables. She did so good. That first mission that they left her at the bar and Sid had to watch her because they wouldn't take her over to whatever the mission was. I don't remember exactly what it was. But Sid had to watch her, and Omega was telling Sid, don't make the next move on the table that she was running. And she did make the move. She ain't listening. She messed up. So the next one, she called Omega in, and she won the game. Ended up winning. Once the team got back, Omega already had it cleared and had a surplus. And Sid said that. So the books was cleared. So what else do they owe?
I think it was, yeah, but I don't think it was for the entire thing. I think it was just for whatever that mission was going to be. Like whatever.
Go back and watch. She literally said the whole thing was cleared because Omega did so good on those games.
Yeah, I'd have to check that out, because I think then part of the reason that they're paying her off is so Sid doesn't tell the Empire, because she knows the whole Empire is looking for Omega specifically.
Okay, that would be different. That would be different.
They're kind of paying for a silence. But supposedly all these missions and all the stuff that Sid ponied up for, that they still owe for that somehow, some way. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly how they're holding that down.
I'll do a speed run on this weekend.
Feel it. So yeah, after that, I was like, after seeing all this, I was just excited to see what their next conversation with Sid was going to be like. Because when they get back, I might just have to pull a Moko and toss her into the nearest fiery pit. Because I'm not telling Sid at this point. You ain't leaving out here stranded.
It's Sid. Who will blame you?
Right? I'm like, I'm about done. We have saved your little crocodile, and you are just not. You're not playing nice. I am done with you. Well, that was episode 10. We're going to keep it moving. The Bad Batch season 2, episode 11. And this one was Metamorphosis. And this week opens up with a seemingly wrecked, semi-abandoned spaceship coming out of hyperspace. And there looked to be like one lone trooper running for his life on it, which what sounds like quite the intimidating space monster after it. So I don't know. It's like, would that not be your worst fear, being stuck on a ship in space with some body-pinching space goblin? Like, I don't know, fandom. Could there be anything worse?
Of course. Literally, I was watching this. I'm like, okay, besides this one trooper that's like running for his damn life, you don't see any bodies whatsoever. So I'm like, wherever this thing is literally eating them whole. I need to get the hell out of here as soon as possible. Escape pod, like time to abandon ship, General Grievous style.
There is something worse. There is something worse.
Lord.
That alien, from what you're saying, was just eating people. Okay, food gets taken out pretty quickly. If you are in the space with Ripley, though, you got to deal with the alien that's going make you have its kids. Yeah. Not in a fun way, in either way, the putting the kid in or the kid coming out, and then you die. So no, I will take being food for 100, Alex, please.
I guess it can always just get a little bit worse, because he knew that trooper, of course, gets got, and before the others are able to retrieve the ship, and when it does get docked, it seems like as if everything was normal, like everything was as it should be. So did they really travel with a monster roaming freely, just feasting on clone troopers whenever it got hungry?
If it was enough clone troopers there, maybe. It's a lot of clones in on a given time.
I mean, just had a long space trip, and the only way to like get it here was to let it eat. I mean, and hunt. So they just put a bunch of unknowing clones on this thing, and they didn't realize they were supper for it to get. I mean, that's insanity.
Or maybe the thing woke up from stasis.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's probably what happened. It probably broke out of the lab. They showed the lab messed up, but that's insane. They should have been a little better prepared. This thing was a monster. And then we see it was coming in from like a different voyage, and whatever that monster is, Dr. Hemlock seemed extremely interested in keeping it safe. So did you have any idea what that thing was at that point, Phantom?
Nah. I was gonna ask you, like, was that shown, that species shown in Clone Wars or no? Because the way how they later in the episode they're like, oh, this thing like attacked Coruscant during the war. And then I'm like, what? Is this like a throwback?
It's weird because I can't remember, but I do that monster did seem familiar for some reason. So yeah, it probably wasn't something. I mean, do they all run together after a while? I mean, there's just hundreds of these episodes after a few. But yeah, I didn't know about you, but I was a little disappointed in like how easy our crew let Sid off after they were talking to her. Like, we knew she wasn't going to be too sympathetic, but she gave zero fucks. Like, is our crew ever going to wisen up like sooner than later and just get far, far away from this lizard? I mean, what do you think, AK? Do they finally get rid of her?
Maybe. I mean, she's horrible. I'm not championing Sid. However, what she is though is connected, and it seems like they still out here trying to be the good Robin Hood characters in the galaxy instead of just going out there and popping off who they need to pop off whenever to make their own money. So they kind of have to deal with her if they want to keep getting jobs and information on people and stuff.
Well, at least she did offer to split their next haul 50-50. I don't know. Would you take that deal, Fandom, or would you just be done with Sid?
You goddamn right I'm taking that deal. What was it, 30, 35, 40, 45? He's like, yeah, you better split that thing. Matter of fact, you should have keep going. This better be a free-for-all because I almost died.
Who else is she gonna get? And I'll take it back again to Omega in episode 10, season 1. Omega, she was like, you come in, you do these tables for me, and I'll cut you in 30%. Omega was like 60. Did not miss a beat. See, again, this is why I be having beef with Omega. You're smarter than this, little girl. Stop making these mistakes. We are in season 2.
Just too trusting to people. But right before they leave, Omega says, how hard could it be? And you just know, like, the whole crew just sighed.
As soon as you say that.
They know nothing comes easy with Sid. But the crew find the abandoned ship, but there doesn't seem to be much to ravage. Like, there's nothing left. Like, they wonder where the crew to the ship even is. And then walking through the ship's hull, they noticed the scratches on the walls, and they were not made by humans. So now they're all heads up. And right after that, Tech says he's going to be heading to the bridge by himself to go get the power back line. Fandom. Are you leaving anywhere by yourself after seeing those scratches on the wall?
Hell no.
Hell
To the
to the
no,
no.
no. Hell to the no.
No.
I gotta take some kind of backup. Like I'm gonna walk front ways. Somebody's gonna watch my back. Like we
I'm
need
still
2 on 2.
traumatized from like what 2 or 3 episodes ago when they had that other freaking monster that they still haven't killed in the whatever like ancient machine thing, whatever temple of the Raiders of the Lost Ark crap.
Which one?
Remember, it was like the episode where it was kind of like the Indiana Jones when they're like looking for like some type of artifact, and there was like some type of like monster there. They didn't know what the hell it was, and they tried to kill it, and they couldn't.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like literally maybe it was like 4 or 5, 6, one of those episodes.
Feel it. Yeah. Yep. It came from space. I think the alien from space. Yeah. God, is that the same thing that this thing is? That's great. I gotta look back at that. That'd be fun. That might be the same one. That might be the same thing because they couldn't kill that thing either. But yeah, I don't know. After seeing those marks on the wall, I'm not leaving by myself. 2 on 2. We are staying together in pairs.
Not even 2 on 2. No, look, we need to go through the ship. All of us are going through the ship.
We want all 4 sides. Keep eyes open.
What?
Yeah, that sounds even better. But while trying to reboot, Tech finds a hiding droid that keeps repeating the same word, danger, danger. I'm like, all right now I'm like, I need some backup here and now. But the rest of our crew find the lab on board and realize that they are not alone, that there is something not to be trifled with still among the ship, and it does not take long for our crew to cross paths with it. And it instantly seemed to me that this creature like fed off power because it was getting bigger the more power it consumed. So I was thinking that's why the ship's power was off in the first place, trying to keep this thing from getting any more powerful. So is Tech just messing up, getting ready to make this thing even worse?
Pretty much. That's insane when I thought.
Probably why the robot keeps saying danger.
Right? It's like, yeah, do not turn that power back on. Like we turned it off for a reason. Like, I don't know. I was wondering. I definitely picked up on that. They got the creature pinned in between them, but none of their weapons were strong enough to even phase it. So they ended up blasting a hole in the wall of the ship to just let it escape. So now it's out heading for a major metropolitan area and must be stopped before it like goes to town on the masses. So I don't know. Was that a good idea? Like, shouldn't have they just kept it bottled in, or did they just need to free themselves first? I don't know. Was that a good? What's that?
She had it bottled in this whole time.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. That just seems worse. Like, you can run and hide in here or do something else. Like, they have this monster bottled in. Do not let it out into a major metropolitan. That just seemed like a terrible idea.
It feels like what's the little digital girl, the queen from Resident Evil? You're all going to die down here. She locked the shit up to keep it contained, and it was contained until they came down there, restarting all the systems and opening all the doors and stuff.
Like nobody told you to do this.
Why didn't you just tap into the system and ask her what happened first?
Yeah. And I mean, again, this is on Sid because they said, as usual, Sid didn't give us all the information, just gave us the coordinates. Had she said something, maybe they know, whoa, wait, maybe we don't go in here and do this and let this thing out, because the people that can contain it were on the way. And they would have been able, like, it would have been in the ship. They would have grabbed it. And not saying that they need to have it either. They're obviously evil and going to do evil with it. But at least the people in the city wouldn't have been in harm's way.
Right.
But that monster had skills, like had Wrecker just manning the guns trying to hit it. And it ends up jumping on Wrecker's window with like so much as not a scratch. I don't know. Not exactly Crosshair holding a gun, Wrecker. I'm just saying.
I mean, but if you can get close enough to Wrecker and not get wrecked, you're a problem.
Yeah. Especially when he's inside a spaceship and you can jump. Yeah, like I said, this thing had skills. Fear this monster.
Not to be messed with.
Fear this monster. And I didn't realize like we were dealing with Godzilla. Like it just kept consuming energy and getting bigger and bigger. Like basically it became a kaiju. Like this thing.
Even more of a problem.
So while our crew try to deal with it, the Imperial ships show up and chase our crew off. And then while trying to corral the kaiju, they actually had a weapon, like I thought, strong enough to actually put the beast down. So, like I said, if you'd have just left this thing be, you'd have been all right. But again, that's on Sid for not giving them enough information of what they were dealing with. Sid just fucking them every time. But I don't know. Take it down, they do. It doesn't take Wrecker long to realize that they're not trying to kill it. They're taking it. They just want to corral and keep this thing. So obviously they're the ones that had it come here in the first place. And the Imperial ships land in massive amounts and troops start deploying. And I was like, is this some type of secret mission that no one was supposed to know about? So now the troop, like, I don't know, fandom. I had bad feelings. Did you think these troopers were just going to come out and kill everybody because they didn't want anybody knowing about this thing?
Fandom, you're muted.
You're muted. Oh, wait. Did you have to bounce for a second? I think he had
Oh, yeah, he said BRB. There it is. Yep, I see.
But yeah, I don't know. That just scared the hell out of me. When I saw all these troopers, like, why are they deploying? They bring in all these Imperial ships and start putting, like, the people didn't do anything. They just been sitting here living their lives, and then Godzilla showed up and started fucking people off. So now why are these troopers coming out here and, like, taking them all in and kidnapping everybody? So it was like, is this Nazi Germany? Like, it was crazy. Like, what are they trying to say? What are they doing with this shit?
Like it.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But with the beast captured and Hunter swoops up the rest of the crew and he bounces, and I'm sure they all have some pretty choice words for when they run back into Sid after dealing with all this. Like, every mission seems to keep getting worse. Everyone keeps getting worse and more dangerous. And I don't know. Like I said, do you think our crew is ever going to come to their senses and just finally bounce on Sid?
Either bounce or start actually charging more. And who's keeping the books? Because clearly y'all are not looking at it to keep up on what is actually what. So 1, start charging more. 2, start actually looking at the books.
Yeah,
so you can make an actual getaway plan, because going this way, they're never gonna be able to leave, because she's never gonna fully tell them everything to let them go. There's always going to be some new charge that pops up somewhere that's going to keep them in there.
I was going to say none of them are exactly CPAs, but Tech is a genius. He knows everything about everything. He should be a little better about it.
He's a genius with technology, not with people. That's the problem.
But with numbers, like, my man can add. He knows what's up and what should be on the books and what's. He said, like,
when it comes to military, yeah. But see, and that's the thing though. There's enough of them around to just completely bypass that, even when the few times he does say something. And he's gonna go with the pack because they, that's the pack mentality that they have. I mean, honestly, this is also somewhere where Omega should automatically be seeing the fucksery and paying attention, a little more attention, and starting to try to steer them in different direction, as we've seen her do multiple times before. But I don't know. I guess they're not ready for her to actually grow up all the way like that yet. I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens with her in season 3.
Also, it seemed like the people of that planet were not being killed off, but like I said, rather being captured. So what do you think?
Corralled somewhere.
Yeah. So what do you think the Empire is going to do with all those people?
Experiments of some sort. We know that like you said, it seems like Nazi Germany. We know one of the things they was doing was a lot of experiments.
That would be
so it would not surprise me if that's what was going down there. That might be their new planet of Dr. Moreau, like the Isle of Dr. Moreau. So
that was such a twist to take. I love it and I hate it.
Same because it fits. It's so terrible that it fits.
That would be brutal. But Tech unveils a major Empire conspiracy. He replied the Empire didn't blow up the cloning sites on Camino to end cloning. They did so they would control everything. And that is some eye-opening shit. Like, that's taking it to another level. So now we know, like, where they're going and what their ideas really are. And Dr. Hemlock can't get Nala Se to cooperate. Like, he's ready to resort to dire measures. So he hails for the ex-prime minister, Lama Su, and tries to ask him how to best persuade Nala. But little does Lama know that if he doesn't and can't get her to change her mind, basically he's gone. He's done for her. I'm not quite sure he sees that whole picture yet, but basically if he can't get old girl to change his mind, I think Dr. Hemlock's just going to torture him in front of her until she does.
That's why that bitch ass prime minister was like, "Oh, so there's a clone out there, a young girl." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like the
Yep.
second person is freaking 3 episodes out, and like first it was freaking what was it? Was it Mako, and now it's freaking bitch ass prime minister. Then episode 3, we all know the next one.
Yeah, Nolan. Yeah, we're gonna get to him. But what did you think? Like, we missed you on that one. But when after they captured that monster, and then all of a sudden those Imperial ships started landing and going out. Like at first, I was like, "Oh my god, are they gonna like? Is this some secret mission that they didn't want anybody to know about? And are they just gonna go out and kill everybody that saw this thing?" But then we saw that they started rounding them all up. So AK has some awful thoughts on this.
Of course they're dead. They're dead. Come on. He literally was like, was there any witnesses? He was like, yeah, some locals. Oh yeah, round them up. Come on, man.
So
have you said, oh,
that it's just killing?
It's getting dark. Get out of here.
Okay, but see, that's the thing. Rounding people up and just putting them in front of like the in front of the gallows or whatever, that's not really that dark. That's regular for the situation as it is. But if you're rounding these people up and putting them into a camp or some type of holding place, maybe there's far more nefarious things than death that you have planned for them.
Awful.
Maybe there might be some type of experimentation going on to see exactly what happened.
Death.
No, that's worse.
No, it's not. That's worse.
She's taking it out to the island of Dr. Moreau type shit. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Okay, look, we started this chasing that experiment, right? Who said that this was the end final stage of the experiment?
It's so brutal.
Maybe those people are about to be batteries of some sort. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Like, if you were going to kill them, why not just kill them there? Why would you take the trouble?
Exactly. What you round them up for?
Yeah. So that's just like, why are they rounding them up and where are they going and what is going to happen to them? That's I don't like it.
Because did everyone in that town see him? Or was like only like a few people?
It's like they grabbed all the people on the outskirts that saw the monster. So that's why I was like, they want to keep this top secret. They don't want that word getting out. So they just snatched everybody that was out there up, which is ridiculous because there's always going to be some people that got away and going to talk about it. If there's only a few people talking about it, a few people, you could just call it rumor and they're just making up stories. You get 1,000 people that were out there and saw it. Now it's fact. So yeah, I don't know. Gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what they end up doing with all those people. But I was like, oh no. But after being thrown in a cage and locked up this whole time, Lama Su is really gonna turn on Nala Se, and I don't know. Again, she's really gonna turn on her for these evil bastards. Like, I get it, you've been locked up and you're kind of done, but you don't think these people are just gonna screw you in the end anyway? You're gonna give them what they want? Like, that doesn't make sense, does it, Phantom?
I'm not sure how their species roll though.
That's true. Dr. Hemlock didn't really agree. He just said he was listening. Like, I don't know. When Lama Su said, like, I know exactly what's up and I can get you this, like, I'll do it if you give me my freedom. Dr. Hemlock didn't really say, like, done, you get your freedom. He just said, I'm listening. That is not agreeing to your request. That is some side talk. So I don't know. You got to know you're going to get screwed in the end by these people no matter what. So what are you doing here? Why are we helping them, Phantom?
At this point, it's like, do you just want to continue your work back in what you did in Camino? That's all I see, really.
Maybe just a scientist wanting to get back in the lab. That's brutal. That is so.
But
brutal.
the other girl, she's like, nah, you just pretty much destroyed my committed genocide. So she's like, hell no.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like, Hemlock's just totally going to jilt the situation as soon as it turns in his favor. So, I mean, you can never trust this man. What are we doing here? I mean, I bet I get it. You don't want to go back to a cage, and maybe if you're out, you can devise a plan while you're out, and maybe, I don't know, something like that going on. But yeah, we'll see. There's got to be something that comes of this because you can't just believe this guy's going to give you what you asked for. That's never happening. Like, could you ever really strike a deal with a lion bastard like that? There's just no way. It does seem like Lama Su is on track to screw our crew, though, as he instantly told Hemlock how to break Nala Se, capture the little clone Omega. I was like, shit, good luck with that. She is with our boys, son. Oh, but yeah, this was a good episode. I like this one. How about you, Phantom?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm telling you, these 3 episodes we're reviewing now, I'm really probably my favorite.
Yeah, they're amazing. Well, I just got 2 quick little trivia questions from this one. See if anybody remembers this. If you know the answers, put them in the comment section down below. What word did the little droid that Tech found keep uttering?
Danger.
She was here. She heard it. Absolutely. And 2, what was the monster of this episode called?
Couldn't tell you.
Anybody know that one? What was the monster of this episode called? They named it and called it a few different times. If you know that answer, put it in the comment section down below. And we got to keep it moving. Last and certainly not least, the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 12, The Outpost. And this episode opens with a Crosshair watching the other clones being forced to retire. And just like the Unsullied, the clones were bred to fight. So they know nothing but to follow orders and war games. Like, what are they going to do? Like, we're talking tens of thousands of battalions that are just being put into retirement. How do you deal with that, AK?
Tens of thousands of Italians?
Battalions.
Oh, battalions. Okay.
The clones. All the clones are being retired for human troops. So they're basically
Are they even enough human troops to so they're just completely shrinking the army, is what they're saying.
Pretty much.
And are the clones actually going into storage, or are they just being diverted to some secret place?
The clones are human. You can't just stick them in storage. They're like living lives. Like, they're not robots. This isn't Westworld.
Aren't they programmable though?
No.
Send them to a med lab and put a chip in their head.
I mean, they do have the chip in their head. So they can be controlled to a point, but a lot of them the inhibitor chip didn't work in some of them. And yeah, it's just an incentive to do a thing, but they're still, they have to eat, they have to live. You can't just put them in a closet. Like, they're still living human lives. They're just clones of humans.
So see that creates dangerous situations, because it's just like in our world, when soldiers come back. Look, well, first of all, there's the medical side of all of that they have to deal with, not just physical, but also mental health, all that to deal with. But then there's also jobs where what are they going to do? How are they going to support themselves now that they're not specifically on army payroll? So it can be a very bad situation all around.
Exactly. And I think what I like, the Empire is showing that they don't care about the clones. Even after everything the clones have done, they don't care about them. And I don't think there's enough food, money, and resources to go around. So they're basically just sweeping the clones to the side. And if they get the humans to become soldiers, you just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Because now you've given them a job, and now you're paying them to do this job, and you don't have to worry about it. So you're taking a bunch of hungry mouths off the street, giving them a job, and basically they think they're just going to reiterate 1 for 1, person for clone. So they don't think their army's going to be shrinking.
They're not getting rid of all the clones. Because remember, there's some clones that are working on the down low.
Right.
Some clones, but it's still, either way, it's not a 1 for 1 trade. They think that's their ideal situation. That's how they want it to work, but that's not how it's going to work. And those are where the problems are going to lie.
Oh, it's going to be crazy. And that's why that one little senator was fighting, trying to give them rights and basically a retirement plan and a life to do something afterwards. Because what are you going to do? Like, I know the Empire doesn't really care what happens to the clones, but shouldn't they? Like, that's a pretty large force that they're just letting walk into the ether.
Exactly. Like, and you basically just told them that they are trash and you don't give a fuck about them.
Yeah. So anybody with means will instantly have a huge army instantly.
Yep.
Like, any rich person is like,
whoever snaps them up,
I'm taking over the world.
Planet snatches them up. Yep. And that's what I was thinking. There was some way to put them on cold storage somehow, because why would you put that level of skill outside, out of your reach? That just doesn't make sense to me.
It's insanity. Yeah. I mean, you're literally just going to let this entire force walk out. So that's why I don't think they'll do that. I think they'll try to kill all the clones off. Like, the Order 66, there might be an Order 88, which is to just off yourself and have them all kill themselves. Like, that would be insane, but I could see it just fall on your blade. And that's what old girl said. That's what old girl told Khaleesi's, like, if you're smart, you'll just tell all of them to fall on their blade, because if not, somebody's going to pick them up and there will be war.
Mm-hmm.
How long of listening to this new Nolan character until you started wondering how fast he got, Phantom?
I probably wouldn't. Probably one sentence. That's it.
He's like, I heard him say one sentence, and I knew he wasn't gonna.
Because he was like, "Oh, put your freaking helmet back on." I'm like, "What? It's just a freaking helmet. Like, isn't your Ray kind of like in uniform?" And then next thing you know, he's like, "Oh, I got to deal with more of them." I'm like, "Yo, yo, just show this man already."
Like, yeah, talking about I don't like using used equipment. Then how about you go and take your little patsy ass out into the outer rim alone then? Like, since you don't want to be like, right? You don't want to be undated with used equipment. Like, you talking hella shit to the ones that are supposed to be protecting you. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, AK. Would you be talking shit to the ones that
are raggedy like that? No, absolutely not.
I mean,
that just does not make sense. Like, you could die out here. You recognize that, right?
How uppity are you going to talk shit to the ones that are supposed to be out here saving your life? I mean, like I said, I was like, this one's not going to make it. He has no chance. And it's not like just these clones. Like, he's instantly talking ish to clones once he got to where he was going. Like, and those didn't respect him any more than these ones did. Like, this guy is too ridiculous. Nolan says he's in charge now, but I don't know. I didn't get the feeling that that's really the way it was going to end up. And by now, I was thinking he may not make it out of the end of the episode at all. But I don't know. I'm sure Crosshair. I figured Crosshair was going to end up saving his life by the end of it if necessary. But things may not have worked out that way by the end of this one. Things may not have worked out that way by the end of this one. Also, one who may need saving is whichever renegade Crosshair had hit when he came to cause that explosion, because Crosshair runs after him following that blood trail. Could you believe he missed him in the first place, Phantom?
I was shocked myself. I was like, wait a minute. What kind of crap is this? This has to be just for like plot convenience, right?
Exactly. Crosshair doesn't miss ever. Like, he got trick shots in his bag. Like, how's he? I mean, I get it. There's a lot of smoke and the explosion and all that. And he was a little bit blinded by that light that flashed in his eye when he was looking through the scope. But still, I don't think that stops Crosshair from just nailing the target right between the eyes. So why did he stop? Like, didn't he not want to get too far away from backup? Because he was following the blood trail of the guy that he hit, and then he ends up going back. And then when he went back, Nolan told him to get right back out there and retrieve the 2 stolen crates. Like, even though there's only 2 of them left to even complete the task, like, you've got thousands of crates here, and you want us to go chase these 2? Like, this guy is just off the rails.
I wanted like something special out of these 2 crates, like they opened it and it's like, oh, it's X, Y, and Z. Or I just open it up and being just empty. Then I'm like, what?
It was gear. All it was gear. Like, they're like, we could have been wearing this. And Crosshair's like, no, this wasn't made for clones. This is made for humans. So this just shows like how big a deal, like, everything's getting switched over basically from clone to human. But good soldiers follow orders, and Crosshair and Mayday walk back out into the night to retrieve the lieutenant's lost crates for the Empire. I was like, man, these guys are too damn loyal. I'd be like, not ignorant. But it doesn't take long for them to track down the one that Crosshair shot, and it looks like he bled out and didn't make it. I was almost thinking like he was playing dead, and then he was going to wait for them to go by, and then he was going to like ambush them from the back or anything. Do you ever think anything like that might happen, Phantom?
No, I didn't think so.
You just thought he was dead, and that was that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking for something. Crosshair himself almost didn't make it out as he stepped on a buried landmine, and luckily for him, Mayday knew how to disarm it, or that would have been game over for our guy there. But he couldn't disarm his feelings of being feeling betrayed and unwanted. Like, after all the clones had done for the Republic, the Empire is just basically throwing them all away. Like, when he found out what was in those crates and what they're really doing, he was broken. And again, all the clones are going to feel this way. So do you really want hundreds of thousands of clones just feeling some kind of way about you, AK?
I wouldn't, but specifically here where it comes to Crosshair, bro, I don't feel bad for you. What did you expect? There's a reason why your crew is not your crew no more.
His choice, yeah. Like, he just a good soldier follows.
You could have went with them, but you didn't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
So now here you are, stuck with the okie doke.
So they find the Raiders' hideout and attack, and they're holding their own while it's being outnumbered, but Crosshair may be a hell of a shot, but he is not much of a geologist because it was smart thinking to shoot the bomb to take them all out in multiples, but completely spaced at the fact that they are on a snow-capped mountain and avalanches are a thing. I was just like, boom goes the dynamite, and Crosshair and Mayday do their best to outrun an avalanche, but it's an avalanche. You ain't outrunning an avalanche.
You don't outrun them.
No. So they didn't quite make it. I don't know. Like, do you think that avalanche, Phantom, do you think that avalanche was caused by the reverberations from Crosshair's shot, or did you think it was set off by the Raiders trying to take them out? Like, that was one of their defenses.
I thought it was by the Raiders instantly.
Really? I couldn't tell which way, because like that first one shot and it kind of rumbled, and then they kind of went about and did their thing. And then when they were leaving, then boom, it started coming again. So I was like, is this just a second echo, or is this like the Raiders? That's smart, like using the elements as a weapon defense.
Could have been a bit of both.
That was pretty sick. Yeah, they knew that was happening, so then they used it to get him. That was pretty good. But either way, Mayday's in pretty bad shape. Like, he put himself in harm's way to push Crosshair out of the way and save him from being smashed into that rock. And basically, he lit himself up. But an eye for an eye, Mayday saved Crosshair, so now he's returning the favor and carries him all the way back to the base. Only to when they get there, they are not greeted with cheers or brotherhood. It was almost as if Nolan would have preferred if they both died out there in the mountains, Phantom.
Yeah, should have died out there.
Dude, what do you do after all that?
Sent there?
What's that?
What was it? It seems like a setup situation. Isn't that why he sent them there?
Yeah, he probably didn't think either one of them, like just the two of them going out there, he probably didn't think they had a chance of surviving that. So he probably just left them for dead and figured they'd be done, and an easy way to get rid of 2 more clones. But
yeah, because you wouldn't risk your actual, in his eyes, good resources of humans as opposed to regular clone.
Mm-hmm.
That was so brutal.
Especially one like Crosshair, he probably knew it would take like a lot to take him down. So why put that manpower out there when you got these random rogues and the elements out there to go kill him?
Man. So was it that bird, perhaps that free bird, that got Crosshair thinking about maybe it's time to flee this coop? Because I don't know. He was like, I did not just carry this man halfway across these mountains back to this base just so you could watch him die, you heartless bastard. Like, you just knew what was coming. I mean, that was literally one of the most gangster scenes to ever come out of the Bad Batch. Like,
I did not expect him to shoot him. I honestly did. And I was like, just do it, please, please, please. And then when he said Lieutenant, I thought he was going to say something slick or just not say anything at all. But then when he shot him, I'm like, finally.
Oh, so good. So good. You could just see Crosshair had enough. Like, he was not going to let this little pissant of a lieutenant take not one more breath. Like, talk down to me one more again here. One more again. Watch what happens. And of course, it happens. Crosshair just let him have it. Then collapses as the other recruits move in on him. And when it faded to black, I was like, you did not just end it there. Like, no more cliffhangers. You're killing me. But alas, they did not. He wakes up in a medic bay being looked at by Dr. Emery. And I don't know, is she really trying to help, or is she just trying to steal some clone DNA, Phantom?
Could be a bit of both. Because remember, aren't they like getting ready to go steal like Omega? So it's like, wouldn't you want like a familiar face?
There you go, maybe. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like she's trying. I feel like she might be like stealing some of his DNA because none of them can figure out how the
That's what I was thinking.
We're cloning, so they're trying to steal this DNA to like re-break it down to see like if it gives them any more clues on how to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that sucked. She stuck that big ass needle in his neck and said, "Stay calm and cooperate, and you might just make it through this." I was like, "Through what? What is she about to do to this man, Phantom?"
Good question.
It's not gonna be nothing nice. It is not gonna be nothing nice. I know that. I was like, "Oh, you're right." This was a great 3 episodes. I absolutely loved it. This one was fantastic. I got just 2 quick little trivia questions before we bounce out of here. If you know these answers, put them in the comment section down below. What was the head clone's name at the outpost?
Mayday.
Mayday, indeed. Absolutely correct. And this is a deep dive. This is going to be a little tougher. If you guys know this one, put it in the comment section down below, and we will know you are a true-to-heart Bad Batch fan. What 2 clones were killed in the Raiders' ambush at the outpost?
Oh, that I don't know.
That's a deep dive. So what 2 clones were killed in the Raiders' ambush at the outpost? If you know those answers, put them in the comment section down below, and you are a true Bad Batch fan indeed. Well, that's going to do it for us. Oh, man, absolutely loving it. We're going to have AK catch back up, and we'll be back on to the next one with 13, maybe just 13 and 14 next time, and then we'll do 15 and 16. So just do 2 and 2 on the way out because there's only 4 more left.
That makes sense.
Yeah, instead of trying to do all 4. I mean, if I can, I'll judge them. But yeah, I think it'll be easier with everything going on to just do 2 and 2 and just lock it in like that. So we'll be back next Tuesday doing episode 13 and 14 for the Bad Batch, and we'll be back on Thursday doing the next episode of Invincible, which I believe is episode 7.
7.
Oh no, did we ever do 6?
Oh, 6. No, yeah, we still got to do 6.
We only did 1 episode.
Yeah, I forgot we didn't do 6 because I had that. So yeah, we'll be back on with episode 6 and just keeping it moving with Invincible. So I hope everybody out there. Oh, you have anything to say before we get out here?
I think we got Jackbox on Friday coming up, and tomorrow on my channel, I come hang with me and Meeks. We're gonna talk about Shogun episodes 5 and 6, and I think that'll be it for the week.
Absolutely locking it down. So we're going to be back here on Thursday talking about Invincible episode 6 and then be doing the trivia on Friday. So I hope everybody out there is having an absolutely fantastic week, and it only gets better from here until we see you on the next one. Be easy, everybody.